I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's News Update. The Obama administration called on Cuba yesterday to immediately release jailed U.S. citizen Alan Gross due to his deteriorating health. State Department spokeswoman Victoria Nuland said that Gross has lost more than 100 pounds since his arrest. He suffers from severe degenerative arthritis and is no longer able to walk in his cell. She further said he has other health problems that cause pain and require treatment. Nuland also requested that Cuba hand over information to the U.S. regarding Gross's condition so that they can make sure he's receiving adequate medical care. Gross, who is 63, was arrested in Cuba in 2009 and was sentenced to 15 years in prison for bringing computer equipment and internet access to the Jewish community there. At a high-profile Kadima Party policy meeting yesterday, Israel's Vice Prime Minister Shalom spoke in support of the two-state solution, warning that there was no greater threat to the Jewish people than a binational state between the Jordan River and the sea. Mofaz extended an invitation to Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas to sit down and begin peace negotiations right away, saying, "Put aside the dispatches, put aside the letters, enough chatter and preconditions, come and talk peace, come now." Yesterday, we reported that an unnamed Palestinian source had told the Arabic-language newspaper Al-Ayyam that Mofaz and Abbas would likely meet in Amman, Jordan next week to restart talks. A joint poll released today by the Begin Sadat Center for Strategic Studies, the Bar-Ilan University Center for International Communication, and the Anti-Defamation League has found that nearly 70% of Israelis surveyed expressed a positive attitude towards the U.S., saying it was a loyal ally, which is up slightly from the last survey in 2009. 93%, also a slight increase, said that the close ties between the U.S. and Israel are vital for Israel's security. 38% of Israelis asked about their attitude towards President Obama answered that they were neutral, while 23% were negative and 38% were positive, which is down significantly from 2009, where 60% of those surveyed said they had a positive attitude towards the U.S. president. As far as the upcoming presidential elections, when asked who would better promote Israel's interests, 22% said President Obama, 29% said Mitt Romney, and 49% said they did not know. The survey also found that about 60% of Israelis believe that American Jews continue to be close to Israel, which is up from 45% in 2009. And 61% of Israelis say that American Jews have a right to freely and publicly criticize Israel and Israeli policies under some or all circumstances. ADL National Director Abraham Foxman reacted to the poll, saying that the bedrock of the U.S.-Israel relationship is found in the people of Israel and the people of the United States. Begin Sadat Center Director Professor Ephraim Inbar added that the poll shows Israelis to be apprehensive about some of the policies of the current U.S. administration, while continually optimistic about America and the American people's friendship for Israel into the future. The Jerusalem Post reports that the leader of a Libyan Jewish diaspora group stated that talks over the restoration of Jewish assets confiscated by Libya's Muammar Gaddafi will begin next year. Libyan-born Jew Raphael Luzon, who's head of the Jews of Libya UK, said the general director of the Libyan Prime Minister's office promised talks would start after a constitution is drafted in 2013. Luzon, whose family was forced into exile from Libya in 1967, just returned from the country where he met with political figures. He said they will start giving back lands taken by Gaddafi from Muslims, and then there will be a second wave for Jews. Further saying whoever will present official documents will get back the money, but we need another year, and only after the second election they will appoint such a man. Most Jews left Libya for Israel during the late 40s and early 50s. Those who remained were forced out by Gaddafi in the late 60s, leaving their personal assets behind. The expat Jewish Libyan community has enlisted the help of the U.S. Congress to apply pressure on Libya to address its concerns. And finally, Israel's President Shimon Peres spent his last day in the U.S. at an event held in his honor at the residence of Israel's ambassador to the U.S., Michael Oren. Among those in attendance were White House Chief of Staff Jack Lew, Senator Joe Lieberman, and Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Peres spoke at the event and thanked U.S. President Obama for doing more than he promised, contrary to what is being said. Peres said, "I don't know any request that was put before him that wasn't met with consideration." It is not clear if Peres was referring to the clemency request for Jonathan Pollard. The White House continues to say that its position on Pollard has not changed. And that's Shalom TV's news update. I'm Teisha.